Hi guys, I am Marticore, and have you ever wondered if the cleaning skill actually does anything in The Sims 2, other than being needed for promotions in certain careers? What about charisma? Let's cover the basic skills today, and I am happy to announce that April Black is joining me for this video.
Hi, this is April Black speaking. I'll happily join Marticore in exploring the very complicated world of The Sims 2 skills. Who knew that The Sims 2 and maths go so well together?
Yeah, there were some calculations required. Again, I needed help. Some of them are not as simple as you might think, so let's dive in. Cooking. This is the easiest one to see effects of in gameplay. It's less likely for Sims skilled in cooking to burn food and start fires. And they learn new recipes on certain levels, such as chef salad at 3 points, pork chops at 5 points, and lobster thermidor at 10 points. There's also food quality that we can read a little about in the Headmaster Scenario Mythbuster on Reddit. Food can have different levels of quality even if it's cooked well, not burned. There's like a range of numbers for it that is likely to be higher when the sim has the skill. Quality impacts how filling the food is, so how high the hunger bar will raise while eating it. Something as simple as a bowl of cereal can be of different quality when made on different cooking levels. The chance of cooking failure goes from 20% at 0 skill to 1% at 10 skill. So your sim still has a minor chance of ruining the dish when they're already master cooks. Happens to the best of us. When it comes to causing fires, the game has an additional calculation that comes along with cooking failure. Saijon made a whole study on this if you'd like more details, but bottom line, the higher the skill, the lower the risk. Plus, usually there's a bigger chance of burning food than starting a fire while cooking a certain type of food on a certain skill level. But for some reason, lobster thermidor always has a 6% chance of causing a fire. Juno Birch would be proud. There's also flambe that pushes an extra cooking failure calculation, but this one is only for fire. So baked Alaska and crepe Suzette have a double chance of causing fire because it's both at cooking and at doing the flambe. And the chance is higher if an unskilled sim does the flambe, which sometimes occurs when getting unserved leftovers. But of course, when left on the stove or in the oven for too long, when your sim got preoccupied with something else, food will always catch fire eventually. In this case, skills don't matter. And there are a few safe dishes that don't require using the stove at all, and those will never cause fires.
Mechanical. Okay, buckle up because this is going to get quite complicated. Obviously, as you'd expect, the higher your sim's mechanical skill is, the better chance they have at repairing broken objects. Sims with very few mechanical points are more likely to just fail and give up. If you keep spamming the interaction, they will eventually complete the repair, but it might take them a good couple of tries. And, of course, they can get electrocuted and die. But what are the actual numbers? So it looks like Saijon has also made a study on this, because of course he did. But I didn't know this when looking at the behavior function responsible, and listen, it took me a good few hours to complete my calculations, okay? And I got the same result as him, so I'm still proud of myself. Every animation cycle, the game calculates whether it should fail the repair or not. In order to work this out, a few different numbers are used. Each object has something called repair complexity. The higher this number is, the more difficult it will be to repair this object. Every object also has a break percentage, that's like a base chance of repair failure. So essentially, the chance of your sim failing the repair will vary based on the object they're fixing. Makes sense, right? The formula for calculating the repair failure looks like this, if anyone's interested. Obviously, the game also checks whether the object your sim is fixing is electronics because, well, you can't get electrocuted whilst fixing the shower, can you? If it is electronics, then the chance of electrocution is 30% of the result of that formula, not overall, and double that if they're standing in a puddle. So 60%. For example, here are the numbers for the Ninja Trash Compactor. Sim with no mechanical skill will have an 11% chance of repair failure, 3% chance of electrocution, and 6% if they're standing in a puddle. Sim with maxed out mechanical skill will have a 1% chance of failure and 0% chance of electrocution regardless whether they're standing in a puddle or not, because the number is always rounded down, decimals are not used. So, in theory, the sim with maximum mechanical skill has a chance of getting electrocuted, but in practice, this chance almost always comes back as 0%. Chance of death after electrocution is calculated separately, and it has nothing to do with the sim's skills, but rather their motives. If their energy or comfort falls by 90% or below as a result of getting shocked, they die. Also, did you know that pregnant sims who are showing cannot get electrocuted? Apparently, pregnancy makes you immune to electricity.
Charisma. If you've never noticed any effects of this skill, don't beat yourself up. It doesn't really do anything. I guess sometimes you can get a false positive of sorts, as interactions can have different results in general. Sometimes a conversation lasts longer, sometimes shorter, even if sims don't argue over interests, and that can change the relationship increase. But it's not based on the charisma skill. I also haven't noticed any change in telling jokes. A no charisma skill can make someone laugh just as well as a charismatic sim, even if both sims are dead serious. Maybe the only change you can see is how hard the other sim laughs according to the animation, but this might be random as well. What is also random is the starting relationship sims get when they first meet. Charisma doesn't increase anything here either. It can be 2 points, it can be 7 points, whatever. Unless your sim has a specific reputation that alters it, but that's in the Apartment Life expansion pack, and doesn't really have anything to do with charisma specifically. But it's fair to point out that this is the first skill on the list that comes with a benefit of the sim's personality. Outgoing sims learn charisma faster, so they are naturally gifted to be in careers such as politics or business. I am not 100% sure I'm right about charisma, but I haven't found anything in game files, any info from the game's perspective, and in tests. It just looked like charisma doesn't really have any benefits.
Body. Sims with a higher body skill are more likely to win fights with other sims who are not as athletic. It's not guaranteed, but they do have the advantage. There doesn't seem to be any increase in how fast they gain fitness due to their body skill. It seems to be the same regardless. That's what physiology is for, or rather, it would be if it wasn't broken. There is a mod to fix it, by the way. You probably know that sims with high body skill dive into a pool head first like an absolute pro and can do more complicated yoga poses, but something that not all simmers have heard of is coffee table yoga. It's quite difficult to discover because it has very strict requirements to even show up. The sim must have at least 9 body skill points and have at least 9 points in active. Also, bear in mind that some coffee tables don't have this interaction at all. And active sims learn their body skill faster, but you might have guessed that already.
Logic. Sims with higher logic skill win chess matches more often, but not always. There's probably a higher chance like for the one fights with body skill. Grouchy sims will always cheat anyway, even if they're masters at logic. They're just mischievous at heart. Also, the higher the logic skill, the higher the chance for alien abduction. But remember that only the expensive telescope has that option, if your sim doesn't have any aspiration benefits or if you're not using cheats. Sims with high logic don't learn other skills faster, even though it seems logical and would be a cool feature if you ask me. Which trait makes sims naturally gifted at logic? Seriousness. Because, playful sims are stupid. Not really.
Creativity. This skill is the most universal one, as it impacts everything creativity related, unless it's a badge skill. Paintings start to look better somewhere at level 4, and at level 10 they sell pretty well. The Sims Wiki also mentions a hidden painting skill, but it's not really a skill, it's just the game keeps track of how many paintings the sim has completed. That number is later used as a multiplier to calculate the price of their completed work, and for very productive painters the price can go above 1,000 simoleons, especially if they continue painting with maxed out creativity skill. Creative sims will also play instruments professionally, even if all they ever did in life was paint, so it looks like holding a paintbrush somehow translates into shredding on an electric guitar. Same for microphone interactions and karaoke. Playful Sims gain creativity faster when playing instruments, especially performing, and writing novels. The Sims Wiki also says shy Sims learn creativity faster through painting, but it doesn't seem to be proven by game mechanics. Maybe it was broken in a patch or something.
Cleaning. On the Sims Wiki they say, Sims will clean things in the household slightly faster if they have gained enough cleaning skill. However, some players report that it also depends on the neatness of the Sim. I confirm, neatness is just as important as the skill, if not more. A sloppy Sim with 10 cleaning skill will clean objects only a little bit faster than a neat Sim with no skill. And if neither of the Sims have the skill, the neat Sim will clean significantly faster. And with bubbles at 9 or 10 neat points, which also makes objects not only clean but super clean. So imagine how quick a 10 neat and 10 cleaning Sim is. That's basically a maid. Neat Sims also learn cleaning faster, of course. And that is all we can say about the basic skills in The Sims 2. Some of them are literal game changers and come with more complicated calculations like cooking and mechanical because they are connected to more complicated interactions. Others just have their benefits, they can lead the Sim to make more money like creativity. Once again, we see how personalities in The Sims 2 count and do something, unlike charisma that is pretty much only for career progression and maybe a university scholarship, and admiring the beautiful animation of grouchy Sims arguing with themselves in front of the mirror. Relatable. Oh, did you know that 2 Sims can learn charisma at one mirror at once? One of them just stands behind the other. Very useful. Thank you, April, for taking the time to join me in this one. Please check out her channel if you haven't yet, especially the corruption videos, because players are still too afraid of this mythical idea of corruption still.
It was a pleasure to join Mardigor in this collab. I hope my explanations made sense to you, and happy simming!
Hope you learned something from this video. I think there were a few things to learn, and as always, thank you very much for watching, subscribing, and stuff like the video, and see you in the next one. Bye!